Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, this weekend we have a heavyweight fight involving Jared Anderson. Now, originally, Jared Anderson was supposed to fight the unbeaten heavyweight from Kazakhstan, Zhan Kazabutskiy, who has a record of, I believe, 19-0, 18 knockouts, extensive amateur pedigree, interesting style, etc., southpaw, that sort of thing. It was a battle between two unbeaten heavyweights, and going in, I expressed my excitement for such a fight because it just wasn't the type of opponent that I was expecting for Anderson. You know, an unbeaten guy who can punch, who's a southpaw, extensive amateur background, with no profile. I saw it as a potentially risky fight. I was picking Anderson to win, but risky fight in my opinion, and I was looking forward to it. However, you know, as boxing very often is, sometimes things are too good to be true. It emerged a week or two ago, Zhan Kazabutskiy, he couldn't get to the fight. I believe it was a paperwork issue, maybe a visa issue, something like that. And yeah, he had to pull out of the fight. But he's been replaced by former IBF heavyweight champion Charles Martin. Now, what do we think of this fight? I mean, for a last minute replacement, they could get a lot worse than Charles Martin. Now I know Charles Martin isn't a great fighter, we get it. One of the weakest heavyweight champions in modern history, well, all time, as far as I'm concerned. But Charles Martin, much like Zhan Kazabutskiy, he's a southpaw, so it makes sense. Jared Anderson, of course, has been training for a southpaw. Plus, Charles Martin has a good experience. Again, he's a former heavyweight champion, which is a good sell to casuals. He's slightly taller than Jared Anderson. He's slightly longer as well. Carries power. All things considered, I think Charles Martin is a pretty decent stand-in. The best sort of stand-in that we could have hoped for, in my opinion. And quite frankly, when you look at it, yes, I know Charles Martin, again, he's got a certain reputation, but when you look at Anderson's resume, we're talking about guys like George Arias, Jerry Forrest, Alexander Teslenko, Jeremiah Karpency, etc. These are the sort of guys on Anderson's resume, so despite Charles Martin not exactly being an all-time great, I certainly think he is the best guy, certainly the most dangerous guy that Jared Anderson has fought so far, because, again, look at Anderson's career, he's not really fought any punchers. You know, George Arias was unbeaten but couldn't really crack, he was a small heavyweight. Jerry Forrest, I think, is the best guy Anderson has fought, but again, can't punch. I would say maybe Charles Martin is the hardest puncher that Jared Anderson has fought so far in his career. So yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see what would happen if Charles Martin lands that straight left hand, because he can be sneaky with it. He's quite good at throwing it over your lead hand if you're an orthodox fighter. He can blind you with like a touch jab and throw that straight left behind it. He can be kind of sneaky with that shot, and he can be quick with it, so it would be interesting to see what would happen if he lands that shot flush on Jared Anderson. All in all, I don't think this is a bad replacement. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather have seen Kazabutskiy because I think he'd be going in there with real ambition, whereas Charles Martin at this point in time, he's 37 years old, he's been a former heavyweight champion, he got that big AJ payday. I wouldn't have thought he's as ambitious as someone like Kazabutskiy, so, you know, it is what it is. He put up a pretty good effort against Luis Ortiz 18 months ago or so, dropped Ortiz a couple of times, but, you know, that was an old Luis Ortiz, so we'll see what Charles Martin brings to the table. All in all, though, again, realistically, I don't think this is a bad late replacement opponent. I think we could have got a lot worse. So yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Also on the undercard, Arslanbek Makhmudov is fighting an unbeaten Nigerian heavyweight prospect as well. so watch out for that one. But yeah, a couple of interesting heavyweight fights on this card. Share your thoughts below. What do you make of Charles Martin coming in to replace Kozabutsky? Can he pull off the upset? Or like me, do you expect Anderson to get the job done? I think Anderson knocks him out more than likely in 4 or 5, 6 rounds, something like that. But anyway, share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy, peace.